Folks from Batavia call this area South Side, and there's lots of stories to be told. In my 4.5 years, I've heard a lot of them. I'm sure there are many, many more. And today is a result of that hard work of our volunteer board of directors. The city was able to, the Della Penna property, which is the backdrop for where we're standing today, and what we call the Santis property here. The city was able to gain access to the Della Penna property. We were then able to charge forward with an application to the Brownfield Cleanup Program. We were able to confirm that there was some contamination at that site from previous uses, and we went after this tax credit program. This all came from the good counsel and creativity of our partners at Harris Beach, and Bob Murray is here today, who guided us through this process. So about a year ago, we applied for that program. We said, we've got some contamination here. We'd like to get these tax credits lined up so we can draw in some private investment into the city of Batavia. Shortly after we received that acceptance, June 26th, we had an RFP on the street by July 6th and said, okay, we are accepted, we've got some tax credits lined up, we're in a brownfield opportunity area designated by the state that really draws some more attention as you're seeking other grants and other capital from state programs. Let's hit the street and see what we can find in terms of development, the private sector interest. So we went on the street, we put the RFP out. We had a dozen folks show up on our site tour to take a walk around, to walk through the properties, and we were pretty excited. We were encouraged by that. I followed up with those folks, and they started saying, well, you know, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that site. I'm not sure, it's kind of big. There's a little too much to it. There's hair on that project, is what the development world says. So I said, oh man. So I called my friend Bob Murray again over at Harris Beach, and I say, Bob, you have to line up somebody. You have to know somebody in Buffalo that will come out here that I can walk through this building that might be interested. He said, all right, Julie, I know a guy. So Bob makes a call. On Thursday, by Monday, I'm meeting Sam Savarino at the Della Penna property. I look at Sam and I look at his shoes and I say, there's a lot of pigeons in there. Are you sure you want to walk through? And Sam looks at me and he says, I'm a contractor. I can walk through there. I say, all right, let's do it. So we walk through the building, and over the next week and a half or so, because the deadline was looming, we started pulling some ideas back and forth. I gathered some information. Sam assembled a team to put together the renderings you see here today and submitted an RFP by the deadline. And we couldn't be more excited about what he proposed, his questions along the way, and his interest in this property. Of course, we researched him, too, to say, who is this guy, Bob? And we soon realized that Sam had been doing a lot of good work in Buffalo. He'd been doing a lot of good work in brownfields. He'd been doing a lot of great work in adaptive reuse. And this is a partner we'd love to have in Batavia. So today, actually, long before today, I was able to introduce Sam to some of my board members. And when Sam walked out of the room, they kind of looked at each other and said, that's a good man. He's confident without being overly confident, and he knows what he's getting into. Let's see if we can make this work.
I have to say, I, for one, drive by this place every day, and I'm really glad that it's finally going to be moved on and fixed. So I'm honored to announce that today the City of Batavia is unlocking its pathway to prosperity. It's exciting to have our partners here with us on the cusp of a major development. We're off to a great start, working together to support economic growth in the City of Batavia with the Batavia Pathway to Prosperity program. Combining resources will be a force multiplier towards successfully cleaning up distressed areas in our community and benefiting all of us who live and work here. We've been told that our Brownfield Opportunity Area is the most active in New York State. The key to that success is the demonstrated collaboration that gives confidence to private sector and provides the opportunity for Sam Savarino and Savarino Companies to invest in Batavia and today unveil their vision for this site. I welcome my fellow elected representatives to celebrate our success, building a pathway to prosperity, and the value of working together. Thank you for your support on this proud and historic
It's
day.
great to see everyone here today on such a wonderful, beautiful day here in Batavia. And congratulations to the Savarino Companies for being selected by the Batavia Development Corporation to develop this underutilized site. Thank you for believing in Batavia. We are all thrilled you are here today, and we all can't wait to see your plans. And I'm especially interested because, as many of you know, my office is just on the other side, right next to this parcel. So I'm really excited about this. So it's also been a very exciting time, however, for us at the Genesee County Economic Development Center. As you all know, STAMP is becoming a reality, with the recent announcement that 1366 Technologies will invest over $700 million and employ over 1,000 people on our site just down the road in the town of Alabama. Dairy Farmers of America will soon be moving into the Mueller Quaker Dairy Plant. OACA Milk Products and Yancey's Fancy remain strong dairy processing mainstays in our community, and our farms and milk haulers are working hard every day to meet their demands. Advanced manufacturing companies, including Graham Manufacturing, Liberty Pumps, Coolitron, and others continue to grow, expand, and have recently added space, equipment, and workforce. Somebody's phone is going on here. It has been and still is the GCEDC strategy to focus on specific industry clusters and build shovel-ready sites to fit our clients' needs. The result of having these sites is that new businesses have come here, expanded here, and stayed here to be part of our community. But there is still more to do. While we have seen much progress in the city of Batavia in recent years, we still are faced with difficult challenges of deteriorating buildings and unused structures in certain areas. There continues to be poverty in our city and a lack of economic opportunity for many of our youth and young adult population. As the county's economic development agency, we were thrilled when the Batavia Development Corporation and the City of Batavia came to the GCEDC, along with the county and the City School District, to ask us to partner with them in implementing the Batavia Pathway to Prosperity, also known as BP Squared. The Batavia Pathway to Prosperity is a collaborative strategy to create a new pilot increment financing fund by diverting 50% of the new project pilot payments to this fund. BP Squared Fund will be used to facilitate development within the Batavia Brownfield opportunity area with the goal of reducing blight and creating economic opportunities for residents. The PIF district, with all of the taxing jurisdictions contributing, is the first in New York State, and through it, the GCEDC can assist the city in developing our community, improving our investment climate, and transforming our landscape for generations to come.
Is about the most exciting economic development news since the announcement of urban renewal. And we both agreed that we're absolutely certain this will be much, much more successful. Okay? So on behalf of my fellow legislators, I would like to thank you, Julie, City Council President Eugene Jankowski, for arranging this exciting gathering today. We are thrilled that a developer has come forward to redevelop this abandoned site and to re-energize an entire block of our city. With all of this exciting news, we support the city and the BDC and applaud their continued progress in brownfield redevelopment and community revitalization. Our community can only be as strong as our central downtown district, and with this announcement and other much anticipated development opportunities on the way, I know it is only a matter of time before more investment comes to downtown Batavia. Not only is this announcement here today a significant turning point for the city of Batavia, but the entire economic landscape of the county is truly on the path to prosperity. We have new housing developments underway in 3 different locations in the county. Our airport has a new terminal. Our fuel sales are up. Prosperity is coming to the Stamp Park with 1366 Technologies, and other companies are knocking on the door to get in. There are 2 new hotels on the horizon in Batavia to support our growing tourism industry, and I'm confident our healthy, vibrant downtown district will further add to the appeal of the city of Batavia. There are plans to bring more shopping, dining, entertainment, recreation, and living spaces to the downtown that will all further help the city turn the corner and lead to a renewed sense of prosperity. So on behalf of my fellow legislators, we look forward to working with everyone involved in the Pathway to Prosperity initiative, and we are proud that Genesee County continues to be at the forefront of economic development.
On a personal level, my wife and I chose 35 years ago where we were going to raise our children. And lo and behold, we ended up in a wonderful community in Western New York called Batavia, a community that we have loved, and we have had a tremendous, tremendous life here for the past 35 years. Over 30 years, I've sat on the school board in the city of Batavia, and we have seen so many changes in our community. School boards and teachers' responsibility used to be to teach, train, formulate sound minds and bodies, prepare for adulthood and continued education. But now, just as important, we are asked to feed, protect, uphold the promise of America, coach and guide young people. Educators are now mentors, teachers, health providers, caregivers, family counselors, and parental support, and in some cases, even parents. The reason why the school district jumped on this opportunity, the reason why I'm here today is because poverty is here. And poverty must be defeated, and the only way it can be defeated is by having communities grow and expand, by having new investments in our cities, and by making sure our children have things of positive nature to look at, not at blighted buildings, not at things that need to be fixed, but things that are being fixed, things that are beautiful, and things that do provide jobs. Poverty and its effect is more than just tax revenue. A simple meal enhances the learning outcome of a student. Can you imagine what a whole new employment opportunity for their parents would mean? Or even the vision of a growing and thriving community as opposed to buildings being torn down. I've often said, I don't understand taxation and finance as well as probably some people should. I stand on the human side of this project. I look at children who every single day need help and assistance. They need our help and assistance, but it cannot happen in a community that is not thriving. The Savarino Corporation is ensuring that this community will start stepping forward and thriving. In closing, I would like to thank them once again from the bottom of my heart. This isn't a project about making sure we grab more taxes. It's a project about making sure that our community becomes a bright and wonderful place for our children and our young people to live in the future. As in all successful communities that seek to improve business and educational partnerships, working together is essential to achieve a strong, sure, and set of outcomes. The sharing of goal setting, development, and implementation will ensure that our pathway to prosperity here in the city of Batavia will become a solid road of economic, educational, and community growth. And with that growth, we will see better jobs, a decrease in poverty, an increase in family stability, and yes, we will see greater educational success. We are currently seeing a rise in graduation rates in the city of Batavia. We are currently seeing more students graduate than ever before. We are currently seeing students who are classified who in the previous years would never have a chance of graduating, going on with successful years and successful jobs after high school. This integration of business and communities and education will continue to make this possible on a greater scale. Our determination will make this the new reality for the city of Batavia, and I thank each and every one of you here today for being partners in the pathway to prosperity and partners for the future of the city of Batavia children.
Well, it's a major step. We've had some other development that we've been involved in the last several years that we can show you, but this is certainly one of the biggest and the most difficult to begin, partly because of the size and also because of the contamination that has to be cleaned up. So once that is done, it's really going to be a transformation of this whole area. And that's what's really exciting. As a Batavia native, growing up with a business my dad had down the way, to see where we can possibly go from back then, to me it's a miracle. It's a miracle.
So how hard was it to find somebody to do this?
Well, it's hard to know where luck plays in, but we were just tenacious in the belief that this was a project worth doing, and that no matter how hard we had to look to find somebody, we were going to find somebody. And with some help, leading Sam Savarino to our doorstep, we were able then to seal the deal. But partly because he's done this before, he really does have a commitment and a passion to the community, not only his development, but his generosity once he's in the community with various groups. And this is a testament of him as a man, as well as a business person capable of handling a project like this. So we're excited.
Well, that's quite a build-up.
I didn't talk about the white horse.
The white horse. No, I feel that, Julie, the Batavia Development Corporation, the City of Batavia, the Genesee County IDA, they just put together a long, sustained 12-play drive, and they brought us in to kick the extra point. So thank you. I'd like to introduce some members of our development team. I appreciate your mentioning my name about 18 times, but having an eponymously named company, you get a lot more credit than you deserve. Our Director of Development is here, Kevin Hayes. Come on, raise your hand, Kevin. A good friend of mine, one of our investment partners, Dr. Ed Plata. And from our design partner, Flynn Battaglia Architects, who certainly have their own portfolio of good urban redevelopment projects in addition to doing work for us. And one of the principals, Mr. Mark Wendell, is here. Let me tell you a little bit about what it is that we years later. You will see a mixed-use development here, and I know that term gets thrown around too often and too easily, and has wide interpretation. But generally, we followed the guidelines that were set forth in the Brownfield Opportunity Program here. And so you find a mixed-use development here. It's going to have over 50,000 square feet of commercial office space, Class A office space, over 50,000 square feet of luxury apartments. The older building on the corner on the Della Penna site will be renovated and restored, and inside there we will have a locally themed brewery, a restaurant, an outdoor beer garden, and a public gathering area there. The other older factory building over there will be put to manufacturing use, some light manufacturing. We're looking at some sort of agricultural manufacturing like hops production there. There will also be a link to the Ellicott Trailway there. So when you come down the trailway, you'll be able to come right into the public area of this development. And we also will be providing a parking spaces for people using the trail. I don't want to gainsay the work that has to happen from this point forward, or the investment that we will have to do here. But we would not be here today, not be close to being here today. Nobody would be here today if it were not for the efforts of Batavia Development Corporation. It took an awful lot of work to put together what has been put together on this site and the other sites here to even get any developer or any investor to even want to come close to doing something here. Like many communities in New York, many areas of Batavia have seen better days. The economic turn, the changing economy after 1950 was felt negatively in many areas of the U.S. And no more than in New York State, and no more than the urban areas of New York State, and no more than the smaller urban areas in New York State. And Batavia is an example. And on top of that, we compounded our problems with making planning decisions for urban renewal and other things that it's easy to criticize now, but probably we're making the best of some limited options available to people. And now it's good to see that we're benefiting from a tailwind. And the future is a little bit brighter. The manufacturing jobs aren't going to come back. Things aren't miraculously going to be the way they were before. But there are some opportunities now to try to reverse things, to take these sites that are in areas like this, old industrial sites. The jobs are long gone. The sites are still here. They're full of contaminants, polluting our communities. And there's opportunities like the Brownfield Remediation Program for New York State to make better use of this. So there's an awful lot to be done right now. But there's an awful lot to celebrate here today, and that's the work done by the City of Batavia, Batavia Development Corporation, and the Pathway to Prosperity. So I'd like to thank you for what you've done, and let everybody know that we're looking forward to being your partners here in Batavia. Thanks.
The bow is compliments of Leanna. But the page 43, this is Batavia Revisited. It was written by Larry Barnes, our own city historian, and we know you're a history buff. There are pictures on page 43 of this site previously. So where the old coal tower once stood that, for the trains that went by. So enjoy it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So Sam said it best. This project that we're standing on is not something you're going to see change overnight.
There's this little triangular building on the end. That may stay with some renovation possibly. But the idea is to create multi-use space here for retail, office, and then upstairs would be residential. This would be a brewery, courtyard, restaurant, some type of, Mr. Savarino said, light manufacturing, hops or some sort, and have it all blend in with the nature of the buildings that exist. So it's exactly what we had asked for. And some of these pictures are work that Mr. Savarino has already done in his other projects in Buffalo.